It begins not with a roar but with a whisper. High above, the polar vortex, long the Arctic's icy guardian, begins to weaken. For millennia it kept the cold locked at the top of the world. Now that grip is slipping. The Arctic warms faster than anywhere else. Sea ice shrinks, oceans absorb heat, and the feedback loop accelerates. The jet stream, once steady, now meanders, opening new paths for Arctic cold to surge south. The cold is no longer contained. It's a displaced resident, forced south by changes we've set in motion. The question is no longer if the cold will arrive, but when and how severe it will be. The stage is set for a winter shaped by forces far beyond our control. As November air grows sharper, all of Europe waits for the first true blast from the north. To understand the threat, look to the sky. The polar vortex, a vast spinning mass of cold air, usually keeps the Arctic chill contained. But when disrupted by sudden stratospheric warming, the vortex weakens, spilling frigid air south into Europe. At the same time, La Niña cools the Pacific, shifting global weather patterns. This cooling alters the jet stream, blocking mild Atlantic winds and opening the door for Siberian cold. When a weakened vortex and La Niña align, Europe faces a double blow: Arctic air supplied, and a highway for it to travel. Meteorologists warn that this rare combination could make winter 2025-2026 especially severe. It's not about predicting a single storm, but recognizing the large-scale setup for extreme cold. The Arctic and Pacific, though worlds apart, conspire to plunge Europe into a deep freeze. The science is clear: planetary connections can turn a season into a crisis. The coming winter is shaped by forces both near and far. Long-range models are sounding the alarm for winter 2025-2026. The consensus: Europe faces a colder, snowier season than it's seen in years. A blocking high over Scandinavia or Greenland will divert mild Atlantic air, drawing relentless Arctic cold south. Temperatures could average 2 to 4 degrees Celsius below normal across much of the continent. This means more days below freezing, higher energy demand, and a fundamental shift from recent mild winters. Snowfall will increase, especially in Central and Eastern Europe, as cold air picks up moisture over the seas. Sea effect snow could bury regions under meters of snow, making snow cover a persistent, disruptive feature. The combination of sustained cold and heavy snow elevates this from a typical winter to a potentially historic event. The models don't guarantee specifics, but the risk of a deep freeze is higher than it's been in decades. Europe must prepare for a winter that could rewrite the record books. December 2025 will open with a dramatic plunge in temperatures. A weakened polar vortex will unleash the first major Arctic surge, sweeping across the British Isles, Scandinavia, and into mainland Europe. Temperatures could drop 5 to 10 degrees below average, with hard frosts and widespread, disruptive snowfall. Cities like Berlin, Warsaw, and Paris may see heavy, wet snow before Christmas, risking travel chaos and power outages. December will be a powerful warning shot. This is no ordinary winter. The opening act sets the tone for a long, challenging season ahead. January will be the brutal heart of winter 2025-2026. The Scandinavian high-pressure block will strengthen, channeling relentless Siberian air across Europe. The beast from the east will ensure weeks of sub-zero temperatures with little respite. Temperature records could fall, and cities like London, Brussels, and Prague may see their longest freezing spells in decades. The ground will freeze deep, threatening water pipes and agriculture. Snowfall will intensify, especially downwind of the North Sea and Baltic, with blizzards paralyzing coastal regions. Mountainous areas like the Alps and Carpathians will face avalanche risks and isolation. Energy systems will be pushed to the brink, raising the specter of blackouts. Transportation will grind to a halt, and healthcare systems will be stretched by cold-related illnesses. January will test Europe's resilience like few months before. The cold's persistence will be its most punishing feature. Survival will depend on preparation and community support. February won't bring relief, but a final furious blast of winter. A second, sudden stratospheric warming could unleash another surge of Arctic air, just as people hope for spring. This late cold snap is especially dangerous. Energy reserves are low, and resilience is worn thin. Agriculture will suffer, with hard frosts threatening crops and vineyards across southern and western Europe. Economic losses for farmers could ripple through the year. In the north, February could bring the heaviest snow yet, overwhelming snow clearing services and risking roof collapses. As the sun strengthens, melting snow will create widespread flooding, especially with rivers still blocked by ice. The transition to spring will be slow and messy, with new hazards emerging as the snowpack melts. February's legacy will be a battered continent, facing a long and costly recovery. The impacts of this winter will linger far beyond the last snow. Europe will emerge changed with lessons to learn. The deep freeze will leave its mark on every aspect of life. The Arctic blast won't hit all of Europe equally. Northern Europe, Scandinavia, and the UK will face the deepest freeze with persistent snow and travel chaos. The UK, unaccustomed to such cold, will struggle with repeated snow events and infrastructure challenges. Central Europe, from France to Poland, will be the main battleground, enduring the harshest cold and blizzards. Agriculture and economic hubs will be threatened by frozen ground and logistical paralysis. Southern Europe will see colder temperatures, but the main threat will be heavy rain and flooding as Arctic air clashes with Mediterranean moisture. The Alps may enjoy a long ski season, but only if resorts remain accessible. Coastal areas in the south could face landslides and storm surges. The continent will be a mosaic of emergencies: cold, snow, floods, each demanding a tailored response. The economic impacts will be as varied as the weather itself. Europe's resilience will be tested on every front. Europe's deep freeze will send ripples across the globe. As the jet stream dips over Europe, it bulges north elsewhere, bringing mild, dry, and windy conditions to western North America. This can worsen droughts and wildfires in California and the Pacific Northwest, even in winter. The lack of snowpack in the Rockies will threaten water supplies for millions. Meanwhile, the same atmospheric shifts can disrupt the Indian monsoon, risking drought for over 1 billion people. The chain reaction is clear. Arctic changes can influence weather from Berlin to Los Angeles to rural India. Climate change is a global challenge, not just a polar problem. The winter of 2025-2026 will be a lesson in planetary interconnectedness. Our local weather depends on distant systems, reminding us we share one climate. The world will watch as Europe's winter becomes a global story. The need for global action has never been clearer. Facing a severe winter, we're not powerless. Science gives us foresight and a path forward. We must prepare for immediate impacts and address the root causes. Nationally, accelerating the shift from fossil fuels is crucial to stabilizing the Arctic. Locally, governments must strengthen winter plans, stockpiling supplies, readying snow-clearing equipment, and protecting the vulnerable. Individuals can insulate homes, check heating, and prepare emergency kits. Staying informed and helping neighbors builds resilience. Community action, clearing snow, sharing resources, can save lives. This winter is a call to action, not doom. By listening to science and acting together, we can weather the storm and protect our future. The Arctic blast is a warning and an opportunity to build a more resilient world. Let's turn concern into action, for ourselves